Hey, this is your virtual ELA lesson for Wednesday, March 25th. So to start out with, just a reminder that we do have Reading Plus this week, so you need to make sure that you're getting that wrapped up by Sunday night at midnight. Also, we're working on Vocab List 19 this week. You should have completed the concept circles yesterday and gotten those turned in on Canvas. If you didn't, it's okay. Just make sure you get them turned in by the end of the week, if possible. If not, we'll work something out. So today, that means we're doing Vocab List 19 Story. So you can download that today, get it completed, get that turned in. If you have the B option, take the B option. Another thing we're doing today is working on a discussion board. I'll talk about that more in just a moment. And then the last assignment that we have going on for today is a close reading exercise of the article that we read yesterday in class. And I'll give you a few more tips on that in a few moments. So again, make sure that you download and turn in Vocab Story 19. I'm flipping through the notes that I'm going to upload to our Canvas module here in just a few moments. So after I get done going through it, I'll add anything that I thought of while I was recording this to those notes. And then I'll save those as a PDF and put them in the module for you to look at and or download, so you don't have to rewatch the video if there's something you've forgotten or you need more clarification on. So there's that. So that brings us to the discussion board. There are two parts to a discussion board assignment, which you should probably be aware of. So basically, the discussion board is kind of to take the place of what we would do as conversation in class or as a class discussion. We're going to do that on a discussion board instead. So some things you need to remember when we're writing discussion boards. First of all, you need to make sure that you respond to the question, which should be pretty obvious, but just throwing that one out there. So respond to the question. Text evidence is always wonderful when we're responding to questions. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Make sure that you put some in there, even if it's just a paraphrase. But even if it's just a paraphrase, make sure you cite your source, so that if we're reading your discussion board post and we're like, I don't remember it saying that, or I didn't think it said it that way, we can go back and go, oh yeah, you were right, or oh no, that's a point of contention that I'm going to address in my response to your discussion board post. More on that in a moment. So respond to the question, use text evidence. Give a complete, well thought out response. That means it should be multiple sentences, not just, I don't think so, because the text said so. End. Like, that's not a good response, okay? So make sure that you're giving a well thought out, kind of researched response to that question, okay? Then you also need to know that you won't be able to see anyone else's post until you post yours. Okay, so you have to post yours so that you're not copying off of somebody else, because I want to know what you think about the discussion question, not your rephrasing of the last person who posts response. So be aware of that. Don't wait around until you can see somebody else's post, because that's not going to happen. And then finally, well, actually, I'll save that one for a minute. So step 2 is respond in a meaningful way to at least one classmate. So find one classmate, and actually I would prefer that you don't just respond to the same one that everybody else is responding to. Find a different one. Find one that doesn't have a lot of responses on it and respond to that one, okay? So your response needs to build or add to the conversation, okay? Not just, hey, good point, end. That's not a great response, right? So the idea is that it's going to emulate or be like a class discussion. And in class discussions, you know how I always tell you to listen to what other people say and not just sit there and wait till you can say what you want to say. So read what the other person had to say, consider it, and respond to it in a meaningful way, not just yeah, great point, or I don't think that's a good idea, or whatever. Okay, which does bring me to my final point, and that is a discussion board is not a place to ridicule or make fun of or bully anybody. okay? You go in, you make your point, you present your case, and then you respond to someone's in an academic and respectful way, okay? We're not doing personal attacks. We're not doing, I think that's a stupid idea. We're going with, I disagree with that, and here's why, okay? So if I see anything that even remotely looks like I'm ridiculing, bullying, making fun of someone in the discussion board post, have no doubt Mr. Ford will find out about it, okay? This is, even though you're not in the building, you are still at school, okay? So make sure that you act accordingly. All right, so make sure that you respond to the discussion board post with a multi-sentence, including text evidence response, okay? Then find one classmate who hopefully doesn't already have 15 responses to theirs to respond to, and in a academic and respectful way, either agree or disagree with them, whichever the case may be, okay? Or add to their point, build on it, okay? So that's what's going on with the discussion board, and to be honest with you, I really miss saying, does that make sense? You know how I love feedback, so hopefully your discussion board posts show me that you got it, all right? The last thing that we're doing today is working on a close reading activity. So just kind of a review of what close reading is. It is rereading a text to analyze and develop a deeper understanding of the text, the author's purpose, the author's craft, as well as how other elements of a text work together. Okay, so there are 3 phases of close reading. So there's the first phase where we're just reading for understanding, making sure that we've got the idea. Then there's phase 2 where we zoom in and think more deeply about some of the concepts that are presented and about how the author presents those ideas. So that's what we're really focusing in on with our close reading questions, is how does the author say what it is they're saying, okay? So you're gonna use the close reading questions, just pages 1 and 2. Page 3 is critical thinking questions, and I mean, if you wanna answer those, great. I have no problem with that if you wanna go through and answer critical thinking questions, but you're only required to complete the close reading questions for this assignment, okay? So that's 6 questions, and they just go over things like the author's craft, like how they showed us what was going on with the rise of fandom, how they showed the influence, or why did they tell us about Charles Dickens in the beginning? You know, that kind of thing is what we're going to be looking at with our phase 2. And then phase 3 is like kind of a zoomed out look, like looking at the whole thing after we've looked at the tiny pieces and parts of it. If we look at the whole thing, then what's the major idea? What's the application of that beyond this article? Okay, and so more on that later this week. All right, sound good? I hope so, because that's what we're going with. Okay, so to recap, we've got Reading Plus due on Sunday. Reading log is not mandatory, but I'd love it if you kept reading. Vocab Story 19 is due today, so make sure that you got that. Post a response on the discussion board and respond to at least one other person, and then reread the text and answer the close reading questions. As you do that, upload that to Canvas, the Canvas assignment, and then submit that. And that gets you through the day. So, quick reminder that I have office hours from 10 to 11 a.m. and 1 to 2 p.m. and those will be on Zoom, but you can also email me during that time and expect to get a response roughly within that window or within each one of those windows. And at any time, you can message me on Canvas, and you can email me at ddixon@pdys.org. All right, well, that's all for today. Again, if you have any questions, let me know, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Bye.